In a village, two brothers got married in their father's house. The oldest one had a boy and a girl, and he was a good and a pious man, and the youngest one had one boy. With the difficulty of living, the oldest brother decided to travel to work in the Gulf to spend on his wife and children, while the youngest brother hired a piece of land to plant it. Years later, the financial conditions were facilitated with the oldest brother, so he sent money to his brother so he can buy a land and plant it. Things keep going like this until they became landowners. After a while, the oldest brother came back from the Gulf and decided to settle with his family. The first thing he did was to write a paper to his brother that he has half of what he owns from the lands. Then he bought a house in the city and moved with his family there. He worked in the city without thinking of what he has from the land, since it is in a safe place with his brother as he thinks, until one day he went through a financial difficulty. So he thought to travel to his brother in the village so that he can sell a part from his land. The big surprise was when his brother told him, "I have spent all my life in this land and I had troubles in it." The oldest brother was shocked by his brother's attitude and his talk. He didn't expect that the treachery became from this closest people to him, and who gives him the preference over himself. And in the presence of the family men, they decided to take the oldest brother's will, take the 1/3 and the rest to his brother, and this because the oldest brother hadn't the papers which he was sending money to his brother and entrusted to him. The oldest brother grieved and got sick at the village and his father's house, which he was waived his share to his brother. He and his family left to the city, and after 3 days he returned to his family, and his face full of light, joy and satisfaction, which it surprised his family, since he was calling them from the village and he was so sad. His wife asked him, "Did you get all our land?" He said to his wife, "No, rather something great. While I'm sad and sick, I prayed the Isha in the mosque and I came back to my father's house with so much grief. Then I prayed at night as I always do. Then I slept and I saw in my dream Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, comforting me. I woke up and prayed Fajr, then I came to you, satisfying of what Allah gave me and forgiving my lost right." When the wife and the children heard his dream, they all cried and said, "Good for you seeing the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him." A week later, the family was surprised by the coming of the youngest brother and his son, who was so sick that he couldn't move or talk, and said to his brother, "This paper I waived all the lands to you. I just want you to forgive me. My son got sick after you left the village directly, and I went to many doctors, and none of them could find out what is his disease, but the pious sheikh of the village, who you knew well, said to me, 'This is because of your injustice to your brother. Go and ask him to forgive you.'" The oldest brother got so sad from what happened to his brother's son. His brother's son stands and kissed him and talked to him. And the whole family said, "There is no God but Allah, and Allah is great." The oldest brother swore to his brother that he loves him and forgave him from all his heart. And he advised him to stay away from the injustice people and reminded him about the hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Allah gives respite to the oppressor, but when he takes him over, he never releases him.
ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا.